Hello, my name is Maya Swanis, and in this tutorial video, I will show you some of the basic search techniques to help you find secondary sources using the Nexis Uni research platform. To learn more about secondary sources, check out our other tutorials on the topic, which are linked in the description to this video. So first things first, how do you access Nexis Uni? Well, there are a couple of ways. The first is to use the link available from the Gallagher Law Library's homepage. If you scroll down underneath the Selected Databases section, you can find Nexis Uni here and click through. You can also find the link by Googling the UW Library's A to Z database list. Once you pull up the list, available here, toggle to N for Nexis Uni, and then scroll down until you find it in the alphabetical list. And you can click through here. The interface of Nexis Uni is fairly straightforward once you understand the various parts. For this video, I'm just going to focus on the main search bar up here. There is also a guided search section down below, but I don't find that quite as useful for the general type of searching that we want to do today. So let's take a look at the main search bar. You can see right off the bat that if you run a search here without setting up any filters, you're going to be searching all of the Nexis Uni content. So what does that include? Well, you can find out by clicking on this caret here and seeing all the types of content that they have. You'll see that they have news, law reviews and journals, cases, statutes, administrative materials, briefs and pleadings, etc. Since we're just looking for secondary sources today, I'm going to select news, law reviews and journals, and legal news. You'll see that there are also other things you can narrow by, including practice area and topic, or date range if there's a particular time frame that's relevant to your research. But for now, we're just going to stick with the more broad search that's just filtered down to these types of secondary sources. So let's run a sample search. Let's say we're interested in the privacy issues related to direct consumer genetic testing. Those are the tests that you get sent to your house. You swab the inside of your mouth and send it back and find out a whole range of information about your history, the type of earwax you have, etc. So in order to run a broad search, we're going to look for direct-to-consumer genetic testing. You'll see that I'm putting that in quotes to retrieve results that have that exact phrase. And I'm also going to include and, the Boolean search term and, privacy. Including the and here means that I will get results that have this phrase and then also the word privacy. So let's run the search now. Here's what the results screen looks like. As you can see in the snapshot up here, it breaks down the results into the categories selected and shows you the number of hits that met each of your search terms. You can click through to view each one. Note that when you run a search, your settings may initially be set to show less information for each result. If you want to see excerpts from each in the list, you can click here. I find it helpful to see more of each entry, as it highlights where your search terms show up, and you can quickly determine if a result is not relevant to your search or if it warrants a closer look. The search results are also initially set to sort by relevance and will give you the results that the search algorithm for Nexis Uni thinks are most applicable. You can change this to instead search by date and see the newest first if that's more useful for your research. Using the filters on the left-hand side can also be incredibly useful, especially the search within results option. For example, if we want to find only those results from our initial search that mention the direct-to-consumer genetic testing company 23andMe, we can specifically search for that phrase. Now our results only include those items that specifically mention that company. Notice that the available filters will change based on the type of resource you're looking at. For example, here under Law Reviews and Journals, you'll see that there are filters like jurisdiction, practice area and topic, attorney, etc. Whereas if we go back to news, the filters include things like timeline, which is basically just date, so if you want to decrease the time frame that you're looking at, and also subject, negative news, which is meant to show you negative coverage of your topic, and people, which has names of people who are associated with your topic in some way, and you can filter by those. So these are the basics of searching secondary sources in Nexis Uni. To find out more about building a search using Boolean terms and connectors, Check out the search tips by going to Advanced Search, and then you can see the terms and connectors that are available, as well as the proximity connectors that will allow you to look for words and phrases that appear within a certain distance from one another. This has been Maya Swanes for the Gallagher Law Library. You can find out more about researching and all of our available resources from the library's website listed here. Happy researching!